Hi, this is Leanna with iMore.com, and I wanted to show you some of the features of textbooks in iBooks on the iPad. So what I have here is a geometry book published by McGraw-Hill, and what we are looking at right now is the table of contents view of the book. So as I scroll left and right, I am scrolling between chapters. And below here, I can scroll between the pages of the chapter, and they're also labeled with the page number of the book. And I can scroll through the table of contents for that given chapter. So let's go ahead and jump into one of the pages. Let's go here. And this chapter section starts with a definition, so I probably am going to think that's very important. So let's go ahead and highlight that. And just as with iBooks before, I can go ahead and change the color of my highlight. I can add a note. This is a note. And there we go. To go back to the table of contents, I can just pinch. And let's go ahead and choose this page. And over here on the left-hand side, you can see I have new vocabulary. Well, what's really cool about that is it's, as of right now, it just looks like a typical book, but now I can go and take a look at my notes. And when I look at my notes, I see there's that note I created. I'm in chapter 6, and that's what I highlighted, and there's the note associated with that highlight. But now let's go ahead and look at our study cards. This is a very, very cool feature of textbooks. And right here on top is a note card with the highlighted text from the book. And if I tap on that, on the back is the note I created about that highlighted text. Now, I can go to my next one, and this is a glossary term. Base angles of an isosceles trapezoid. The angles formed by the base and one of the legs of an isosceles trapezoid. So now I am looking at definitions of things that I need to study, and I can look at them. And with these, I can look at include my notes or not, or not include the terms in just my notes. And I can also shuffle them so that it's, easier to study. And next I want to show you one of the cool interactive features that is in this book. And that's this guy down here called Personal Tutor. So I can tap this.
Let's
and now
measure the interior
I'll just let you
angles
watch.
of polygons. Find the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a convex hexagon. A hexagon has 6 sides. So we'll use the polygon interior angle sum theorem, which tells us we can multiply n minus 2 times 180 to determine the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a polygon. N equals the number of sides. So
you get the point. That is extremely cool and very helpful when it comes to a math text in particular. Another neat feature is that in the margins of the text, you'll find various things such as study tips, and sometimes they're really small and hard to read. Well, now you can tap them and bring up what was over there on the side, and then you can either exit out or pinch out. So I've now reached the homework problems for section 6.1, and here they are. It looks like normal problems. I can't interact with them because this is intended for students to do on their own paper and turn in. However, we're all familiar with how books have the answers in the back of the book. Well, instead, I can just tap this guy, and here are the answers to all of the odd questions. So that is really, really neat, and it's very easily accessible, so I can quickly check if my odd answers are correct. Now we have switched to a chemistry book because there are some cool features in this book that were not in the geometry book. One of them being, if I were to open this book for the first time, I would be shown this video. Now we're not going to watch the whole thing, and I can do that by pressing this arrow, and I can skip the video if I don't want to watch it. So what I wanted to show you with this chemistry book was how you can interact with various figures and see more multimedia on a page than you would in a textbook, a physical textbook. So on this page, I have 2 different figures. This one has a slideshow of photos that you can flip through. And if I wanted to see them bigger, I can just tap on it and flick through them like that. And on the bottom, I still see the caption that was shown in the smaller view. And then I can pinch to get out of it. And over here, I actually have a video that I can watch. And just as with the slideshow, I can go ahead and make that full screen as well, or I can go back down. We won't watch the whole video, but you get the point. Also, we can do this with many different figures. Here's another one. It's just a static image, but I can still make it bigger and take a closer look at the image. This figure is actually kind of neat because it isn't a video per se, but it's something that I can interact with. I tap it and now it's going to start the little interaction so I can see how the formation of ozone is done. I don't know anything about biology. Here's another cool figure that you come across in textbooks, and that's this guy. I can look at it in 3D and rotate it to get a better look, and I can make it bigger and rotate it like that. That's really, really cool, and it's probably really neat when looking at things like DNA. And another thing, here's some more slideshow action, that you'll find in the textbooks is these little question things. So this is basically a self-check section of the book asking you basically sample test questions or quiz questions, and it will immediately tell you if your answer is right or wrong. So which of the following is composed of matter? Let's see. Let's go with C. Check answer. I am wrong. I'm actually going to go with D, and that is correct. And I can slide to the next questions by just sliding, or I can hit the arrows, and at the end it'll tell me how many questions I have correct, and if I wish I can start over so that I retake it over and over until I get all the answers correct. One last thing I wanted to show you is how it looks in portrait view. So, pick up my camera, and let's go ahead and go into portrait, and you'll see that a lot of the figures, let me get this focused, are now smaller. So this was a figure that actually we were just looking at that was a lot bigger, and now I just have to tap it to take a look at it. What I like about portrait view is that I'm scrolling now up and down, and it just feels a lot more natural, and it also, getting the figures out of the way and out of the distraction from reading is also kind of nice, because now I can just tap them as I wish to take a look at them, but it not hog up the entire page when I want to read. And there you have it. That was a quick look at textbooks in iBooks. I am Leanna with iMore.com.